Hello, this is Mutiny Motorsport, the FedEx Championship Series, where the drivers in the Mutiny are driving the kart cars for Season 11 in the team. In the commentary box today, it is myself, Alex, and Gary. Say hello.
Hello, how's it going? I am so excited for today's race. We got these cars at Laguna Seca, which means we are going to have us a fun race to watch.
Oh, I'm so excited to see how they're going to tackle the corkscrew, in a giant pack. They had it in qualifying, and it was, let's say it was eventful. There are a couple of spills, and looking at the track map right now, you got two previous winners. Neither of them are here right now. So this is going to open up the field for a lot of drivers to take their first win here in Laguna Seca. Broadchen first, Peter in Season 6, the second driver to win. Peter's still holding the lap record over the 47 laps that they've got ahead of them today. Let's go over to qualifying, see how they did.
Yeah, up first we got CumSum again here in the first 106.3, followed by TAMING at second, Debugs in third, Rodders in fourth, Viltech in fifth, Garrett in sixth, Shattered in seventh, NDF in eighth, Alex in ninth, Artie in 10th, Orange in 11th, JonD in 12th, LeCLair in 13th, Purple Haze in 14th, and Bumblebee in 15th.
I gotta say, the CumSum to TTR is only 2/10 and then they're a second ahead of the rest of the field, but third all the way down to RT in 10th. All of those guys are within 7/10 of each other, so watch out for a close midfield today. The battle is on for third place if qualifying is anything to go by.
Yeah, and that mid-pack being so tight on a track like this, I am just excited for what's ahead of us, because there's no way we're not going to see some wild overtakes, some crazy incidences, and we all know that the corkscrew always presents a very interesting time for everyone, especially on these cars. It's going to be a thrill.
With their loose rear ends and suddenly losing all sort of sense of grip as you go over the crest and down. And we can see them on their warm-up lap. They just went through the corkscrew, experiencing it probably for the first time with full tanks since practice, as they line up side by side and they're getting ready to go around the final corner and start this race for us. It's a clear sunny day here, 38 degrees, and it's hotting up on the track as they set sail. And TTR, oh my God, that looked a little bit over the top there with his go, and he almost overtook on the way over the line, and he has taken the lead as they get into turn one.
Yeah, they're bunching up nice and tight here. We got three wide there in the middle of the pack. It looks like we got Alex going wide, and then oh mamma mia, that is a wreck and a half there. Their cars.
I saw some car flying through the air there. Wow.
Yeah, I believe that was, I'm not sure who it was, but there was so many different cars there that got plowed into from the side and launched it into the air.
And the safety car comes out, and we're looking at LeCLair right now with no rear wing. So he was one of the victims of that early turn 1/turn 2 incident. Oh, and we're going on board with Viltech here. Let's see his perspective of this launch as the safety car comes out and gathers up the field. So it looks like he's good. He's got some open space on the inside. He's going to brake nice and early. Looks like Debug plenty of space. This is a great little run, and it's CumSum off to the side.
Going wide. Yeah, CumSum going wide and getting that opportunity there to come up through in the middle.
So here we are on board with Aspmoon now, seeing what it might be like more mid-pack. So we saw it open up for Viltech as Debug and CumSum just gave him the space there to run through. And Aspmoon runs wide. There we go. He loses the rear end.
I think he might have gotten pushed wide a little bit there from his teammate from the looks of it. And yeah, just absolute smash. People getting smashed.
Oh, side-by-side action costs them. And then let's have a look on LeCLair's view. So yeah, you can see the spin in front of him and just nowhere to go. Not even braking room for him there, and just sky and dirt.
Yeah, it looked like both Alex and Orange got stacked in that moment. We can see here.
See three wides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like Garrett pushed out wide. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like G.O'Brien and Aspmoon just side by side there, and that cost them. It's nowhere to go in the middle, nowhere to go on the inside. This track is not wide enough. and the stewards have decided no further action for the first corner incident. And that makes sense when you consider just how many cars are in that melee.
Yeah, and it's got to be heartbreaking for Team Rahal. This is their first time back with all 3 teammates, and one of their star drivers who was up for championship last season is already having to I guess go in the pit lane, get some repairs done in order to handle this, but not the ideal situation.
Yeah, I've got 100 front wing, 100 rear wing, and then 100 left or rear suspension, so.
My whole, I got 100% wing and rear suspension, so I'm trying to get back, but...
Orange, if it makes you feel better, I forgot to put fuel in my car. This whole season can just go right in the trash can for me.
Sorry, Alex, I was 3 wide, I was trying to maintain, and...
But the surprising part is I have no damage, which I don't... Mine feels... Force feedback feels very, very different from when I use the soft and the hard on these cars. I get a lot more vibrations with the hard than with the soft.
Wow, so a lot of team radio there to process. It seems like Orange is, he's struggling, LeCLair's struggling. I mean, Orange is in the pit, Shattered's in the pits. Like he said, his season's over. This has not been the season for Shattered Compass after coming so close. Oh, and that looks like a track violation limit for CumSum already, and they've been behind the safety car.
Track limits on the straight? Like, I'm in the road. Let me get a 20-second penalty.
A lot happens in the first 4 laps. If you're just joining us, welcome along. There has been an incident down at T1, and the fields are just struggling to comprehend how bad it was. If you haven't already, just go back a minute or two and go see what happens. Wow.
Yeah, that was something else at the Andretti hairpin. It always creates some interesting situations, and I think from what I could see was that Rodders didn't get off to the sort of start that everybody else did. And that sort of created a chain reaction that I could see pushed Garrett back, and that pushed, I believe, like LeCLair was behind him, and then I think everybody was trying to maintain and push forward while still, dealing with that, and it just created this backup situation. One thing that is interesting is that I did not see Aspmoon go into the pits, so maybe he is feeling that he didn't have enough damage that to be worth it, and is trying to maintain the position that he has, or maybe it just wasn't that bad of damage. He maybe Orange took the brunt of that hit because they were in parallel, and it seemed that his car got the direct smash, so maybe Alex actually turned out okay in that situation.
Yeah, I think so, because he like you said, he is still on the lead lap right now, and it looks like TTR is going to take over the safety car function right here. Maybe let some people that have been in this incident, in the mutiny, we do allow them, if there is quite a bit of the race left to go, we allow them to unlap themselves, just get them back in the race. We know how it is in the mutiny, how it is in sim racing. Sometimes incidents happen, and it's horrible to be straight off and out of the race in turn 1. So give them an opportunity to grab a couple of laps back maybe, and just get themselves back into the race so they can enjoy and spend their morning or their afternoon, wherever they are in the world, enjoying their racing with us. It's a great feature from the mutiny.
Yeah, especially with us, so many people in the league putting in time during the week to practice, and all that energy, and sometimes things happen that are outside of people's control, and it's a really lovely way to still keep the competitive racing. But those who did keep a clean lap are still rewarded, but at the same time, those who got pushed back, they can still get into some fights and some battles and enjoy their race day.
Exactly. And we see LeCLair in the pits. He took a long time to get round, so I'm not sure he's going to make it back, as we see pace car in this lap, this full course yellow. So they gave however many it was, probably just the one lap of unlapping. And if I look back, it's Orange who's a lap down. Maybe he might get past them again, but he's quite a while away on the track map. And then LeCLair still in the pits. So if Orange can catch them, he'll go past, but he may not catch them in time. The crew are all going through the corkscrew right now, as Orange is just going through turn 6. So, he's going through turn 5. So he's got a while to go.
Yeah,
might
and
catch
one
up
thing
to
to note here
Commentators.
too, as well, is the positions that Viltech has moved up through that. I believe he started 5th at the beginning of
he
this
was
race,
mid-
maybe 4th. Maybe it was 5th. But anyways, he
Yeah.
had that great launch, and took advantage of that and moved right on through with when CumSum, went wide coming out of T2 for the Andretti hairpin. And let's see if he can't hold on to that. That would be quite the boost for him.
That would indeed be. They need a team leader there as TTR comes round the final corner. It looked like Orange has just caught the back of the pack, so they're going to start racing when they are ready, and he is gone. Viltech in tow, Debug 3rd, Rodders 4th, NDF 5th, CumSum in 6th from that pole position, so that costly mistake in turn 2 really cost him a lot of positions. Let's see if he can recover today. So as they lead out, TTR already gained almost a second on Viltech, so had the element of surprise. He was the guy leading the pack across the line, so got to choose when to go, and that is a huge advantage on these restarts as side by side. Oh, there's quite a few people. Purple Haze, John, they're battling
John's
back
not
here.
afraid of getting his elbows out there. He said, not today, this is my line, but Purple Haze is giving him a good fight for that too.
He is indeed. And here we are on board with Garrett O'Brien and Artie as they go through, and Garrett spins up those rear wheels, and it looks like Bumble in P9, highest position he's been in the mutiny so far, I believe, is kind of maybe a bit of a cork in the bottle. You can see the gap opening up in the top right-hand
That's
side of the track
CumSum has
map.
went wide.
Oh,
got
CumSum's
a little
wide.
bumping.
Oh. And he said to Garrett, sorry, I went wide, but that is not your spot. You're still going to have to fight me for it. So Garrett had to get off the throttle.
It's so impressive that CumSum went wide on the dirt and was still able to maintain his lead getting in there in that last corner. It's not an easy place to break, and he did a wonderful job here. And John is putting some pressure on here as well.
Yeah, it looks like Aspmoon has got past Bumblebee, and John is trying to do the same, and you can see the gaggle of cars now as Aspmoon starts to stretch his legs, and they just can't find a way past Bumble there. He's putting up a crazy defense. And that's nice. He's middle of the track. He's not forcing them. Oh, and they're side by side. That's Purple Haze and John.
And John
on.
No. A big wreck there. They got tangled up.
One saw the opportunity. The other saw the opportunity. They both took it, and 2 does not go into 1. So
and Rodders has overtaken Debug here. Looks like Debug went a little wide.
And Purple saying to John, did you not see me? But I think he was behind John trying to do the double overtake. He was trying to do the Mika Hakkinen on Michael Schumacher at Spa, and it did not pay off. They both went the same way. So we're starting lap 8 now. It is still light cloud, lovely day. In fact, it's changed actually the weather. It went from sunny, clear to light cloud. So you may see the track temperature just dip a little bit, but it's still 38 degrees right now as we're on board with Garrett, who survived all the collisions at the beginning, got through that, and is P7 right now, thinking, right, 8 seconds off the lead. What can I do here today?
Yeah, and I think this weather will be an interesting variable. It's not too terribly hot, so that it'll be interesting for what it does for the tire life, because this track has a lot of fast corners. It's relentless. It doesn't stop. And you have to keep putting, the pedal down in order to make the most out of your laps. And so, what will that mean for tire life today would be an interesting situation for pit strategies.
It will be, as I can see Purple Haze in the pits, so sustained damage there in that collision with John. Maybe John didn't suffer too much. It looked like he more went across the dirt, whereas I think Purple Haze we saw hit the barrier. So recovering there, this isn't the greatest start to Purple's mutiny career, really, when you consider there was a collision there in his first races. So let's go back on board with Viltech. 1.1 seconds. So since that opening lap of the restart, TTR hasn't quite crept away from Viltech, and Viltech is holding him honest right now, with Rodders just starting to fade in the background, even though his lap time last lap was faster. Was the fastest guy on the track, I believe. Yeah, 109.5.
Yeah, it looks like TTR and Viltech are, wow. Viltech has really just caught up here. He had just got some tremendous speed coming up to the corkscrew there. which, you know, is another interesting point to this track, is the elevation changes that you have and what that means for braking and throttle and when to get on brakes and when to get on throttle and when to push. It's a very difficult track, and as a driver, it's quite relentless in that regard. And it feels like the second you're done a lap, you're already on to the next one, and you have no time to brake. I mean, you have this long straight here, but it's all exhausting as a driver.
It is, as I think that was NDF going wide just in the turbulent wake of Debug in front of him, and that's put CumSum right on his tail. As we see another car way out to the side there, that has to be LeCLair getting out of the way.
Not like the easiest track to overtake on either. There's only so many opportunities that can come, and so you really need to get your car positioned correctly and getting up nice and tight before the back straight and the last turn. Sometimes you can make a move and then Andretti hairpin if someone leaves that door open. But really, those are the only main two overtaking places in this track.
I think crew didn't service me at all.
Oh. And Shattered Compass, if he had no luck, well, if he had bad luck, it'd be some luck. That is I don't know if that's a bug in the AMS2 or if it's
I believe it is, yeah.
Because
he's dropping down.
We've heard it before, some people not getting serviced, whether they're not pressing the button at the right time, maybe too late on the lap and the pit aren't ready. It is hard to say. That looks like JonD coming out of the pit, so maybe he did sustain some damage there and just took it a little bit longer to get into the pits in Purple Haze. As we're still on board with this fight for fourth place right now, it is Debug, NDF, CumSum, and they're separated by just over a second and a half. The CumSum locked in 0.5 of a second behind NDF. Wow. CumSum, you know he's got speed. That 106.3 is not a mistake around Laguna Seca.
Bumble, don't cut across the track, man. Your car's damaged, don't cut across in front of people.
So LeCLair not happy there, it sounds like, on team radio with Bumble there. And there is no further investigation with that move, but it did seem like Bumble come across the track as, that's JonD getting out the way. And these moments like this where you've got back markers in the way are a perfect opportunity if you're someone like CumSum. The driver in front just hesitates just a fraction. Then you can slip past them, try and make it work in your advantage.
It is impressive to see Viltech still maintaining pace with TAMING. I mean, we all know TAMING has got a great pace. Doesn't matter the track or the car or whatever it is, he puts the time in and gets it right. But to see Viltech maintaining that gap, it's an impressive feat to see.
Viltech is definitely quicker. The last few lap times, TTR's still been in the 110s and Viltech in the 109s. So whether TTR's maybe looking after his tires, whether Viltech's just getting that toe in the small slipstreams, whether he's just faster and like, man, if this guy in this yellow car, if he would just get out my way, I could show him what a lap time is. But right now, he needs to get past. He needs to do the job.
Yeah, and tire wear is going to be an element here because you can only push so long behind another car, and that's what I'm curious to see what CumSum, if he'll be able to maintain this assault on NDF, because it's not something that can be sustained for lap after lap after lap. Your tires will get fatigued, and you have to time your attacks well. Otherwise, they'll get worn down, and you'll be having to pit far sooner than you'd be wanting to.
Yeah, and maybe we've just seen Viltech drop back by about a second from where he last was as CumSum crosses the line, and he's still within that half second. And maybe Viltech, maybe 2.3 seconds now away from TTR. So I wonder if he's giving himself some room, or whether it looks like on the track map, car 11. Who's that? Shattered Compass. So maybe just having to get past Shattered Compass has cost him a little bit of time there. But also it helps maybe give you a little bit of momentum if you can catch up to the car in front and then overtake while you're still in that role of having your lap times be where you want them to be. Sometimes that momentum, you can carry it through and use it with the overtake, whereas once you're stuck behind them, kind of like CumSum is, and you're in the dirty air and you're having to lap at the same time as the car in front of you, just helps slow you down, and you don't have an advantage out of a corner because you're always just tucked up behind the car in front.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, in this track, here we go. Who's that? Is that Shattered that went wide there?
That was Shattered. He's having a torrid time right now.
Him and Orange are having a season to forget this year. I think that they're ready for the next season to come.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Debug shouting about something, and you can see it there on screen. CumSum has taken the opportunity. Debug must have had a moment, and CumSum has slipped through past NDF up into 5th, and those are the opportunities we were just talking about. Oh, heartbreaking for NDF there, but congratulations for CumSum, and NDF goes off the track, lapse of concentration, and drop back, and then Garrett's there looking at him going, a weak one of the herd, I'll take you.
There is that is I think where we'll be seeing more overtaking today is through mistakes than perhaps a general overtake, because it is just so hard to overtake on this track, and these cars are certainly wily. He may have damage, NDF. That doesn't seem normal.
That does not seem normal, and I'm also looking at the leaderboards and going, okay, maybe TTR was just holding the pack up. A 108 who just did the lap before, and then he's back into the 109.1s, so he was doing 110s for a while. So I wonder if there were some mind games going on there, and he's like, hey Viltech, actually I got a measure of you right now, let's actually see what you got. Now we're on lap 15,
and I like that their times are only 100th off from one another. It feels like he was like, you gonna raise the ante? Okay, I'll raise it as well. It sounds good.
And the top 3, well actually when you look, TTR, Viltech, Rodders, CumSum, Garrett and NDF on the last lap, not so much if he has damage now, all in the 109s. So fuel coming down, confidence coming up. Let's see if that breeds a mistake. Maybe that's it, what bred the mistake that happened with Debug there.
Yeah, and he's being hounded by CumSum right now. That is not an easy thing to ignore in your mirrors.
No, you don't want a driver that's, stuck it on pole and only went off, and he's only behind you because he's made a mistake in turn 1. You don't want that driver behind you because they've got pace in pocket. And that's scary. And it might, Debug is not, he's an old, experienced driver here in the Mutiny. And before, he's got years of sim racing experience. So you wonder if the pressure will get to him. So far, he seems to be absorbing it pretty well.
Going a little bit wide there, and that gap looks like it's gotten a little tighter since then. But yeah, it's interesting to see, because CumSum, he has this sort of almost like animalistic speed where he just like the track can barely keep him on there, and he's just like flinging this car around. While you might see someone like TTR, his car feels more balanced, and I think it feels more planted and stable coming in and out of exits. So it's interesting to see people kind of attack the track differently, really.
Exactly, as we are looking at TTR absolutely putting the laps down a 108.4. So he's saying to Viltech, okay, I had time in hand, I've just put half a second on you, I can't see you in my rear view mirror anymore. As that looks like Viltech might be going into the pits there. I see a little P next to his name, so lap 17, maybe underfueled a little bit more than TTR. That was Debug. No, the pressure got to him.
That corner is that last corner there, T11. It's a corner that you think is not going to be a problem until it is a problem. You think that you underestimate it, and you brake later. You think, oh, I can brake later. I can make that corner. But you need to slow the car down and rotate it so fast to get back around for that straight that it can really be deceiving, and it can kind of lure you in, and you can underestimate it by braking too late and then going wide as you're trying to rotate the car around.
And while you were saying that, I was actually just admiring how great these skins are from the league. And actually, you can see the Haas logo there right on the back winglet, just before the front, the rear tires there on the side of this car of Debug's. And I was like, man, the skins made by our community are just phenomenal. The level of detail, the clarity in them. Oh, I'm blown away. It puts me right in the mood every time I see these
And especially love that the custom helmets and the gloves and all that. That really goes an extra long way for making this look so incredible. And these liveries look fantastic. And it's great to see those overhead shots and see all those details of the car, because there's so much to like. There
is a lot to like. And so TTR took it an extra lap over Viltech there. So let's see what it's like on pit exit. I think he's going to have the pace.
Yeah, a lot of pitting happening right now. We got Viltech had already pitted, but we got Artie, Garrett, TAMING, NDF, Alex Aspmoon's pitting now as well. So we got a lot of changeover happening at the moment.
So let's have a look. It looks like Garrett is in the lead right now. Last of the pitters maybe in the front running. No, it's changing again. So the scoreboard is just updating right now while everyone's in the pits. Let's give it a moment. It's saying Viltech is in P7 right now. So let's see if that still holds true. It looks pretty true to me. Yeah, that looks like Garrett in 1, RT in 2. No, that can't be. Yeah, he's dropped down to 3.
No,
this timing board is all over the place right now.
It'll probably take a lap or two to kind of sort itself back out after all the pits are finished, I would imagine.
Yeah, that is it. So we're on board with Garrett right now as he's looking in front of him. That must be a lapped car in front of him, I reckon. Probably LeCLair being 4 minutes down, not the start he wanted to this race. Or maybe even NDF. It's hard to tell right now. As they go through the corkscrew, and he has, that looked like that was Debug, or was that Orange just behind him?
That was Orange, yeah.
That was Orange, yeah. That is TTR's teammate. So coming into this round, we had the championship standings. Let's give ourselves a bit of a storyboard as to where we are, why we are. So Orange in 8th place in the championship standings, just 3 points behind Garrett as they enter Laguna Seca. So Orange being a lap down has really hurt him in the opening crash in his battle there against the midfield pack.
I think we just saw, Aspmoon just went wide there as well, coming out of the corkscrew. Such a tricky track with these cars. It's so difficult because the elevation changes and the weight shifting, and these cars their rear ends just want to get loose constantly, and you don't really have a lot of high speed to help with the downforce, especially in the rear. So there are moments in the track where it can get higher speed, like the straight and coming into T1 and 2, but overall it's a lower downforce, or not a high downforce track, and so that can create a really unbalanced car very easily.
Yeah, it is. And the corners lull you into a false sense of security. As I'm actually just looking here, CumSum has gone long, lap 20. I don't think he's pitted yet. So he's on a different fuel strategy entirely to the other leaders who are TTR and Viltech, and he's 18 seconds ahead. So this is looking pretty good for him, doing a completely alternate strategy to the front runners. Maybe going a little bit longer in the first stint and then have some lighter car in the next 2 stints. You got to imagine, I can't see him doing 27 laps of fuel. You got to think he's pitting again at some point.
Yeah, and
hey, Debug. Go away. I don't think so.
And this is the great thing about the mutiny, is the radio is live between all of the drivers. So you can hassle and give mind games to the driver in front and try and just psych them out a little bit. And there we go. That's how Garrett's technique was. Through love and laughs. Hey, Debug.
And we know that those two have a storied past. Last season, they were battling out in the final race for position, and they always seem to be fighting each other on track quite regularly, and have gotten themselves into some good little battles. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. And it does seem that the leaderboard has sorted itself out now. It seems to be in correct working order.
It does indeed. So just giving some context as well. So G.O'Brien is 32 points coming into this race, and Debug was at 38. So just 6 points between them. That is close. And then LeCLair in third with 39 points. So when you're looking down the leaderboard, you're like, right, okay, well, TTR, CumSum in the lead, Viltech, what is Debug? What position are they going to finish in? It's going to make a massive difference to the way their championship is going to end. Wow.
Yeah, and we can see Garrett was sliding his car around there, which is always his telltale sign of pushing. So we'll see if how much he can continue that, because I don't think this track is going to permit too much of that sort of aggressive sliding behavior with the tires without killing them early.
That is it, and that as CumSum goes into the pits, his alternate strategy is put him right back up there, it looks like. Is he going to be moving when they go past? No, he's not. He's still up in the jacks. TTR regains the lead. Viltech in second, just 3 seconds behind him, and Rod is in third. So looks like it's brought him back into somewhat of contention. But I was going to say, on your point with Garrett versus Debug, that is the telltale sign. We've seen it. If you go back to Silverstone, was it last season? Maybe the season before in the F1
It was
cars.
last season. Yeah, the Formula Reza. Yeah.
Yeah, that was you could see it all over Garrett's car, just the stepping the back end out, just putting that foot down, the lead right foot of Mr. Hollywood there, just trying to urge his car on through all the means possible.
I love that shot there. You can really see how low these cars are to the ground.
I didn't see you there at all.
It was just an awkward spot. I was trying to get over, let you guys go by, and then we just ended up 3 wide. That squeeze it is.
Something happened at the front between the back marker of LeCLair and the front runner of TTR. Hopefully we'll get that in a replay as Garrett going sideways, having the battle of a life with CumSum right now. CumSum strategy has worked, and 10 seconds to TTAR for a crash we have not seen yet, but we have heard. Oh.
If I had to guess here, CumSum... No. So that's all CumSum needed.
That's all he needed, and LeCLair, this is his onboard. Oh, and TTR just absolutely clatters him side on side. Oh, and that's Viltech just scraping through there. Let's get that from a different replay angle. So TTR goes wide. He outbrakes himself just like Garrett, just like you were saying. That corner, you just want to do it so much better than you should.
And then when you fail in that too, that's gonna just hurt you the entire way down the straight. Oh man, that was rough. Oh. And Viltech just narrowly escaped him too.
Whoa.
That'll put some adrenaline in your body, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that's probably given LeCLair some huge damage without a front wing, but as we're on board with Garrett right now, it may be giving TTR a little bit of damage as well, side on side. Maybe the suspension was tough enough. Whoa!
Oh!
And that's the heavy right foot we were talking about.
Yeah, that bottom corkscrew is tough business. It is unforgiving. Really throws that car off balance.
It really does. And Artie has made hay while the sun's shining down here in California. The light cloud, 2 kilometers an hour winds, 38-degree track temperature. So that light cloud has changed nothing with the track. It is still hot out there. As we go on board with Viltech, he definitely saw that moment happen in front of him and he just narrowly escaped it. So this is his chance to think, if TTR's got some damage, it's my time ahead.
Don't know whose fault that was there. I tried to give me space, but kind of f***ed my car.
And Rodder's upset with something. He was running in a pretty good third position, but it looks like he's down 13 seconds. I can't remember his gap from before. I'm sorry about that. And the stewards have already given a 10-second penalty to Bumble for that.
That's really unfortunate, especially with him being so high up and doing so well in this race. It must have been some significant incident in order for that to have happened.
It is indeed. So here we go. Bumble, we're on board with him right now. Oh, as you can see, locks the controller, goes over the yellow curb and just understeers straight into the side of Rodders, who is lapping him. So Rodders chooses the outside, gives him space, nice and gentle steering, and that's it. Yeah, just a collision to the rear wheel from the front wheel of Bumble.
And that has happened right before pit entry, so that means he's going to have to go all the way around the track in order to get his car repaired, and he's going to lose a lot of time for that.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be suspension damage, not aero, maybe. It looked like it was wheel-on-wheel action there. So maybe, hopefully it'll be quicker just being suspension and not having to be both that and aero, but we'll see when he gets in the pits. So we're back on board, lap 25. Wow, we are flying through this race. TTR ahead of Viltech by 2.5 seconds, ahead of Rodders, who's now 11 seconds. So damage maybe isn't too bad. It was 13, so he's gained a little bit of time maybe. And then
Viltech is gaining a lot of speed here.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was under a second. For a moment there, it was only 7/10 off. So I don't know if TTR, his time is 3 seconds slower than it normally is. So he must have had some sort of incident.
Yeah, looking at the track map, there is car number 9 between them right now. So it might have been a back marker. Who is car number 9? That is Shattered Compass. So maybe just getting past Shattered and losing a few seconds. And there we go. We're on board with Viltech, and we see Shattered Compass in between the two guys fighting for top spots here. It is Viltech versus TTAR and Shattered Compass in ninth place in between them. You can feel the dirty air coming off the back of these cars as he just understeered so lazily right to the edge of the track. And again, Hans having to cross, Shattered going wide. Viltech saying thank you very much. That was a clean, easy unlapping, or lapping, sorry.
The corkscrew takes another life in its hands. It's unrelenting in its mercy.
It is. Oh,
and so is that corner.
It's the last corner. This corkscrew and the last corner. They're claiming their victims today.
And you know what it also is with that corner is that you want to be able to brake late so that you can trail brake into it in order to get the rotation, turn around really quickly to set you up for that straight. But if you don't get that initial bite properly, you're not going to get that slowdown enough, and it's just going to send you a little bit wider. And we've seen varying degrees of how wide people have got sent from there. You know, that wasn't too bad for Viltech compared to like Garrett's or Shattered. I believe there's another one that went wide.
Yeah, and TTR as well, that caused this collision that gave him a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, and those are people that don't often make mistakes either. And so I think that's a good example of sometimes the simplest corner can be the one that gets the most people.
Absolutely. As we're on board with Artie, lap 27 in 6th place. This has been a good end to his season. The beginning wasn't so good as we see LeCLair entering the pits from P12 again, probably wishing he could just put the car in, grab a pint, and finish his day in the pub. Good end to Artie's season here. Setting a 1:11 last lap, not setting the world alight, but he's P6. So, hey, what does it matter what your lap time is right now? It's not massively off the times. It's one of the slower, actually, though, looking. He's alongside Orange, so steady hands with Orange there. 2 seconds off the front runner pace, but something may have happened. You don't know. But he is in lap 6 as we see Rodders in lap... he's P6. Rodders in P3. Damage doesn't seem to be costing him too much.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Slow, 117.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to drive with sustained damage and trying to make it last, but I don't know how long that can hold up for because CumSum is going to attack that.
Yeah, CumSum in 109.1, so fastest guy in the field right now by quite some considerable margin as well. 0.6 over Garrett, the next fastest driver, as we see. There we go.
Yeah,
CumSum, that was easy bait, so maybe the damage is more than we thought because that gap is already a second. So Rod is definitely nursing something there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he goes to the pits or not, because I think that something's going to have to happen in order to keep that pace up, because it's not sustainable.
Yeah, and his teammate is just behind him, just a corner behind him. As we're on board with TTR, 3 seconds ahead, 3.8 seconds. So he's starting to open up the tap, seeing if he can maybe get that 10-second penalty.
Rodders is in the pits,
yeah, Rodders in the pits, so yeah. Good call there from his team. Don't waste any more time. Give yourself more laps with a fresh car than with a broken car, because you get the time to recover then. So he's going to drop down. He could probably fuel to the end now. What is it, 47 laps to 29? So yeah, looks like he'll probably be able to go to the end now.
Especially near the front half of a race, because there's so many things that can happen during a race that can open up an opportunity that, you know, maybe you think, oh, I'm not going to get into the points, but, you know, all it takes is one incident to happen and you can get yourself back into point contention. And he's a very fast driver on top of that too. So he's got great pace and great, he knows how to handle himself on the track. So it's definitely worth getting into the pits and getting your car back to 100%.
Absolutely. Rodders, this is his 4th race this season. He's on 21 points as he enters this race. He's got a 2nd position, so just proving he is no slouch. In 3 races before this, he already was on the podium. That is not something that many drivers do in the Mutiny, so you've got to hand it to him. Old quick hands Rodders, as we see Garrett looking at the back of Artie as they capitalize on Rodders' pit stop and both move up a position.
You can see he took that corner a lot more cautiously that time.
Yeah, and down the inside. Got to be careful. going on that green line just there can cost you, and I think that's what cost CumSum his 21 seconds, so don't forget that as well. CumSum driving with the 21-second penalty from earlier, so he needs to get as far down the road as he can right now as Garrett goes through. That was a great move on the inside, on the exit there. Artie thought, I can't hold on to this. Just go past. And he doesn't have the lap time to respond. The last lap was a second slower. So as Viltech enters the pits.
Yeah, I think that's experience there of seeing someone who's just behind. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. Commentator's curse.
Tires are starting to get ugly.
And maybe that's it. Maybe the tires are starting to get ugly. If Debug's suffering with the tires, maybe that's what Artie was suffering with too. But it looked like he had a tight line through that fast left-hander there.
Yeah, we see CumSum going in a second as Viltech's in the pits. He looks like he's got a little earlier strategy than TAMING and a lot of other people that are. CumSum is obviously trying to go as far as he possibly can. But it's kept Viltech in the running so far, so it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out.
It will indeed. And so here we go. On board with Garrett again as we see someone sliding out of the pits.
That's Viltech.
That's his teammate.
Yeah.
That's his teammate. So mistake from Viltech. This, he's made a few small mistakes over the season, and it's cost him. Sometimes people make mistakes, and you're like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll slip, maybe I'll lose a few seconds. I feel like when Viltech makes a mistake, the same mistake anyone else would make, it costs him huge for some reason. So we've got to keep an eye on that. He's now behind his teammate, but remember, he has pitted. Garrett will need to pit as TTR comes in the pits. CumSum still needs to pit. Artie needs to pit. Debug, talking about his tires, definitely needs to pit. So he's still on there, hanging in there right now.
Yeah, and look, there is an advantage to undercutting here because these tires, because the track is not that hot, they take at least a lap, maybe a lap and a half to get fully up to speed, and then you're coming out with a full tank. And so if he's thinking probably I can come in with hot tires, ready to go, and catch someone coming out of the pits, that might be an opportunity for overtaking. Because I think that happened earlier with Garrett and CumSum. CumSum, he went really long, and then he got dropped out right in front of Garrett, and that's what, he got that overtaking opportunity before the corkscrew, and then gave it up by, messing up on T11 there.
Yeah.
But there is an opportunity here because this track has so many corners and very little straights that you can make a move. And that's probably why Garrett's able to have any bit of a gap between Viltech, because their pace is similar, but it's because of him having hot tires, low fuel, and Viltech coming on cold and, heavy fuel.
And so that is Debug and TTR fighting for position. They are on the same track at the same time. That is Debug fighting for third, but he has not pitted as TTR goes slightly wide. And I was saying, I was thinking I could see Viltech pushing because he was running two wheels just on the gravel in the shot before. But I think Debug's going to have to peel into the pits at some point. He's going to be light on fuel versus TTR heavy on fuel. So all these drivers are absolutely pushing the limits, and CumSum has set a couple of 108s in a row. So they are absolutely giving it some beans out there.
Yeah, I suspect we'll be seeing a lot of pitting happening here, probably this lap, if not the next. We've got Garrett, LeCLair, Bumble, all in the pits at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like this is a heavy two-stop race. You got to stop once, and then you got to stop again. It looks like CumSum was the longest there with maybe 20 laps, I reckon. So they're going to have to do two. I don't think you can do 27 laps on a tank of fuel. These cars are just way too thirsty for that in the old engine department. As CumSum with another 108. As we're watching him here, I think he is in P1. Yeah, he is. As he comes around the final corner, made it look nice and easy. As we're back on board with Debug, 2 seconds behind TTAR now. Carrying good speed through the corner, right up to the edge. By contrast, Orange in the car behind, not looking as confident, not using nowhere near as much track as Debug was there. And Debug holding his own with this light car right now. So let's go through. We're on lap 34. There's still some pits to happen. It is CumSum leading TTR ahead of Debug, ahead of Viltech, ahead of Rodders, ahead of G.O'Brien. They're your top six right now. And still on the lead lap, Aspmoon, RT, they are your top 8 all on the lead lap. Everyone behind that, Orange, Shattered, JonD, LeCLair, Bumblebee, Purple Haze, and NDF, who looks like he's retired, not on the lead lap, one or many laps behind now. So we think CumSum still needs to pit. We think Debug still needs to pit. So watch those guys dropping down. Let's see if Rodders can start to reclaim after his damage, it seems like, from earlier where he had that pit stop. Cost him some time. As CumSum starting to slow down, TTR starting to match his pace. 109.5.
You see Debug has finally got his pit as well now too, so that should kind of iron out the standings after this. Yeah.
Yeah, and that isn't in a bad way by any stretch of the imagination. It's just where he is in relative terms to everyone else. As I love this view of the corkscrew there. Get to see the cars just falling away. There was a threat of rain that might... Some people were, you know, their weather radars were predicting rain for the race, and thankfully it hasn't come. We have seen rain in California in this season already.
That elevation change at the corkscrew is really something that's it's kind of hard to really understand just to the degree of how high that is. Oh, Debug going a little wide there.
Debug, yeah, doing what we saw Viltech do a few laps ago and almost taking out both Garrett and Bumblebee there. Debug probably shutting his eyes, turning the wheel, and just praying to some sort of motorsport god there that it worked out in his favor.
Yeah, that's a really tricky pit exit because you know coming out cold tires, heavy fuel, and you know if you don't brake soon enough and it's going downhill, you can lock up your tires and go wide. That's what we saw Viltech do earlier as well.
Yeah.
And you know you want to obviously get out of your pit as fast as possible, but you also need to do it safely. And thankfully nobody got hit there.
And I'm just wondering what's happened to Viltech's pace. Viltech's pace looks good, but he is 10 seconds behind TTAR. So whether he was making his way through traffic, maybe he had a moment somewhere, but out of nowhere, out of the last like 5 or 6 laps, really, TTR has opened up a huge gap on Viltech there, and that is his penalty gap right now. It is just over 10 seconds, so working in TTR's favor right now, not in Viltech's. So we see CumSum braking yet again really nicely for the last corner. Ooh, having a bit of oversteer on the exit there. That was not showmanship, that was car control.
And you can see where his lap time is as well. He is still trying to get ahead and push in order to build a strong enough gap to TTR in order to make this pit strategy work. I don't know if 15 seconds is enough, but he certainly has the right idea with the pace.
Yeah, and he's got his 21-second penalty as well, which will only be 11 seconds if he finishes ahead of TTAR, because TTR's 10-second penalty. So we're managing penalties up at the front there. CumSum's was early on in the race, pretty much during the safety car for track limits violations, probably on the start-finish straight, and TTR's was for contact with LeCLair as he was lapping him. And we got Viltech here, 25 seconds now off the lead, but his pace is suggesting that he should be right up there with them. And if we look at the track map, we got CumSum. Oh, he's entering the pits now.
I was just about to say, I think when he pits, this is going to really be the true lineup of how things are, because I don't think his strategy is accurate. Like where his positioning is now is a real accurate representation of. I could see him kind of popping out. Fourth maybe. Yeah.
Well, fourth right now is just coming through the corkscrew, so I think he's going to have time to get out ahead of fourth place, which will put him fourth. And there you go. Viltech crosses the line. The leaderboard has not updated, but he is now in second position. CumSum, I don't think he'll
be right behind CumSum. Yeah. But it'll be interesting because CumSum is ahead, but the leaderboard's not updated there, I think. But
yeah, he is. You see him?
Yeah, he's ahead. It's going to be an interesting thing because of what I was just talking about earlier. Viltech's tires are ready to go, and CumSum's are not, and it will take at minimum a lap to get them up to speed. So we'll see if we'll have Alex here will play a little team ball. Yep, and go a little wide to let Viltech come through. Good teamwork there.
Yeah. Lots of space helping him through. Rather than try and give him a toe, but then give him dirty after the corner, just said, I'll get out your way. And look how close he is caught up already as they've got another back marker in front of them. And this is great opportunity for Viltech here as he comes round into that turn. Round in the final few corners before the lap starts again. And he gets another opportunity. Braking zone. We know CumSum's good into this. Viltech looked even better. Nice tight line there. And out onto the start-finish straight. It looks like it's just over a second here. Yeah. He's caught it down to a second as they enter the braking zone now. Aspmoon even, like, I'm not even going to brake on the same line as you. I don't want to hit into the back of my own teammate.
Yeah, it was, Aspmoon has so much experience how instantly he knew that he needed to get out of the way there, but yet, at the same time, he's keeping an eye and keeping his pace up as well. He's got a lot of experience to bring to Team Rahal, and I'm sure that they're very happy to have him back.
They will be indeed. So Viltech is taking up the mantle right now, I believe. Going into this from Road America. Actually, it's still Aspmoon in the championship leading position for Team Rahal. And then second is G.O'Brien, and third in their team is Viltech. But Viltech is the one out in front right now. So great team showing here, being like, you know what? You're right now. You're on the lead lap. You're the first one of us. Just move. I'm not even going to fight you for the points here, even though it could make a huge difference to my championship as well. As we go on board with Debug here in P6 after his pit stops.
Yeah, it looks like now the tables have turned. Yeah. He's chasing Garrett this time around. It's a gap of 4 or so seconds. Let's see if that gap slows down as we see Garrett trying to accelerate out of that corner again, testing fate.
Yeah, he is. So Debug a second a lap faster, but Rodders right now is the man on track, or was the man on track with the pace. It was a 1:08 just before it changed to a 1:11. This lap round, it looks like it's between Viltech and Debug maybe for the fastest man. But here we are, CumSum P3. So his strategy has worked. After his drop down to P6, he's made his way back up to P3 with raw pace and a long couple of stints, and now a short stint. So expect his pace to be pretty feisty.
I don't know if it's just me, but his car looks so much lower than everybody else's. CumSum. I'm wondering if he's, which is not an easy thing to do in this track because there's so many bounces and elevation changes that can bottom your car out, but maybe because of the nature of it not being as high speed of a track, it's not as much of a concern, but it does seem lower to me than some of the other cars on track.
Yeah, he is low riding that car. So lap 41, 6 laps to go. TTR leads Viltech 12 seconds, so his penalty is working, is not hurting him right now. Ahead of CumSum, ahead of Rodders, ahead of G.O'Brien, ahead of Debug. They're your top 6. RT is in 7th. He's still on the lead lap, and Aspmoon in P8 and down. They're all a lap behind.
This is heating up here. This is a serious battle here for second, and you can see CumSum is shortening that gap nearly every other turn, and I'm sure Viltech is becoming keenly aware of who's behind him.
I bet he is. Like you said, a 1:08.2. Look at the confidence he has into the braking zone of the corkscrew there. Right behind. Lifting off a little through the fast left-hander. How much is he lifting? Quite a bit. Just goes a fraction wide. The dirt is unforgiving here. Don't do that too much, CumSum.
Yeah, that gravel will eat you up real fast. But he is, not let that got the best of him, and he's still putting the pressure right back on. He's been the man applying pressure to everyone today, nonstop.
He has been. So Viltech from P5 up into P2, but now being hounded by CumSum, who was on pole. He's in P3 at the moment, so both drivers here are pushing, and no one is holding back right now. Now's the time to sprint if you haven't already. Use up everything of your tires. Try and make the gas tank as empty as possible. CumSum 0.2 of a second behind. That is smell what Viltech had for breakfast distance.
I've been seeing Viltech out of that corner every time. Whoever is behind him or in front of him, he's either extending the gap, or he just has a great acceleration out of T6 before, you know, the Rahal straight, appropriately for Team Rahal. And he really gets a really fast exit out of there compared to everyone today. It's been interesting to see what corners he's been pushing and pulling in.
It is, but look how much closer CumSum is now. He is right behind. This is lap. They're on lap 43. CumSum just 0.2 of a second still. He's got the pace. He's pushing him along. He's taking alternate lines. He's ducking and diving around the outside. He's going to come under the inside. He's going to try around the outside. Viltech cuts him off, shuts the door, slams the door more like, and says,
wow.
Buddy, this is my spot. I want this podium. I want this second place. You're going to have to do a little bit better than that.
Yeah, CumSum's tires have got to be squealing a little bit at this point, you know, because he is just unrelenting and he's not giving up. I mean, and they're not fresh tires at this point either.
They are not. Into the corkscrew, braking hard, staying so close behind him. That is unbelievable with the lack of downforce he has there. You know, not the highest speed. He goes wide. Oh, he touches it.
Oh, big.
Oh,
wow.
Huge moment. Oh, and Aspmoon nearly runs into that, but CumSum immediately. Oh, and that's it.
That is the race.
I thought it was more laps than that, but I was wrong. Team Rahal Viltech race winner. That crept up on us, lap 44. Wow.
That's the perfect example of Laguna. It's just nonstop, relentless, lap after lap after lap. And you know, what's funny here is I think CumSum pushed Viltech to go faster and caught TAMING because of being pushed that hard in that time period.
Got to wonder, yeah. TTR's last lap, 1:13. Did he slow down?
CumSum, you couldn't outrun that penalty.
So, I was catching you because I collision with a black marker. Loads of damage, so I don't know. What could have been? I won that penalty, but I was trying to get honorary second place, trying to get Viltech, and I went wide at the last corner.
Nice one, Garrett. If I hadn't have had to repair that wing, it could have been different.
Great job, Viltech, man. Fantastic work.
Yeah, that was great pace.
I owe it all down to lap 1.
Great job, Viltech. I felt great during the race, I must admit. It's really consistent.
So what a race that was. Viltech took it by 0.6 of a second, so TTR couldn't outrun his penalty either. Rodders claims third with CumSum's penalty there. Down into fourth is CumSum. Garrett getting fifth for Team Rahal. That is great. And for his own championship, 10 great points there. Debug in sixth as we hear the British national anthem for the first time this season for Viltech. Incredible stuff. Artie in seventh, 6 points. Aspmoon, even a lap down, getting 5 great points. Shattered, writing off his season, but still getting 4. Orange in 10th. John in 11th. LeCLair 12th. Bumble 13th. Double Hayes retired.
Yes, this will be interesting to see what it does for the drivers here. We got TAMING, who is getting a firm lead here at 89 and not seeing anyone stopping him soon. But Viltech with a massive jump up to second place with 48 points. And then there's so many people that are just behind. Debug, 46. Garrett, 42. Nate, 40. Alex, 40. LeCLair, 40.
Wow.
I mean, it's such a tight race for second. And then we got Rodders in 8th. Rauchen in 9th. Orange in 10th, Shattered in 11th, Artie in 12th, CumSum 13th, John in 14th, Peter in 15th, NDF 16th, Old Boy at 17th, Bumble at 18th, and Rick at 19th, and Purple Haze at 20th.
Wow, and what is this doing for the team standings? Well, Rahal with a great showing out today. That winners bumped them. They've moved up one position into the lead. Team Rahal leading 130 points. The PPI's 121. Pack West with 105, so looking to secure that third place. Forsyth Racing, 89 points. Newman Haas, 58. Penske with 34. Autosport with 33. Patrick Racing with 29. And Team Green with 3 points. That top and the middle sections are just heating up. Look at the spread of wins as well and podiums across the entire field.
Yeah, it's very impressive to see, and I'm sure Team Rahal is very happy to have Garrett and Aspmoon back this week to help secure some extra points.
Thank you so much for following along this season. This has been race 6. You have got 2 more ovals left. Come join us, please, for those 2 ovals to finish the season and see how everything ends. Thank you so much.